Good morning students. Today we discuss first a problem. Let fx is equal to 1 when x belongs to q intersection close interval a comma b and 0 when x belongs to r minus q intersection close interval a comma b. We have to show that fx does not belongs to r close interval a comma b. That means f is not r integrable. The question is here, fx is 1 when x belongs to q intersection close interval a comma b. That means our rational point intersection close interval a comma b, and 0 when x belongs to r minus q, that means irrational number intersection close interval a comma b. So for solution, we take a partition capital P on close interval a comma b such that P is equal to A is equal to x naught less than x1 less than x2 dot dot less than xn is equal to b, and ik is equal to close interval xk minus 1 comma xk be a sub interval of close interval a comma b. So here capital Mk is equal to supremum of fx on the interval xk minus 1 comma xk is equal to 1, and small mk is equal to infimum of fx on the interval closed xk minus 1 comma xk, and the value is equal to 0. So UFP is equal to summation over capital Mk into xk minus 1 or delta k. So this is equal to 1 into the summation of full interval, that means b minus a is equal to b minus a, and infimum of UFP is equal to b minus a. So upper integral a to b fx dx is equal to b minus a. Now LFP is equal to summation over small mk xk minus 1. So we know that the value of mk is 0. So 0 into summation over xk minus 1, that means 0 into b minus a is equal to 0. So supremum of LF comma p is equal to 0, and this implies lower integral a to b fx dx is equal to 0. Hence we see that upper integral a to b fx dx not equal to lower integral a to b fx dx, and that means fx does not belongs to r close interval a comma b. That means f is not r integrable function. Now there are some important theorems, statements. Theorem 1, let a function f close interval a comma b to r be monotone on close interval a comma b. Then f is integrable on close interval a comma b. That means if f is monotonic function, that means either monotonic increasing or decreasing, then f is remain integrable on close interval a comma b. Next theorem, let a function f close interval a comma b to r be continuous on close interval a comma b, then f is integrable on close interval a comma b. Next theorem, let a function f close interval a comma b to r be bounded on close interval a comma b, and let f is continuous on close interval a comma b except for a finite number of points in close interval a comma b, then f is integrable on close interval a comma b. That means if a function is bounded and continuous on close interval a comma b except for finite number of points in close interval a comma b, then f is integrable on close interval a comma b. For corollary, if f close interval a comma b to r be piecewise continuous on close interval a comma b, then f is integrable on close interval a comma b. Next theorem, let f close interval a comma b to r be bounded on close interval a comma b, and let f e continuous on close interval a comma b except on a infinite subset S subset of close interval a comma b such that the number of limit points of S is finite, then f is integrable on close interval a comma b. That means previously we see that if a function is bounded and continuous on close interval a comma b except for finite number of points, then f is integrable, and this theorem states that if f is bounded and continuous on close interval a comma b except on infinite subset S subset of closed interval a comma b such that the limit points of this infinite subset is finite, then f is integrable on closed interval a comma b. Some examples. Number 1, let fx is equal to sin x when x belongs to closed interval minus 2 comma 2. Then what's the value of fx? We see that then fx is equal to sin x, that means in when x belongs to minus 2 comma 2. So we can write it as fx is equal to minus 1 when minus 2 less than is equal to x less than 0, and is equal to 0 when x is equal to 0, and is equal to 1 when 0 less than x less than is equal to 2. So here we see that f is bounded on closed interval minus 2 comma 2 because the value of mod of fx less than is equal to 1 for all x belongs to closed interval minus 2 comma 2, and f is continuous on closed interval minus 2 comma 2 except at only one point 0. So by theorem we can say that therefore f is integrable on closed interval minus 2 comma 2. Now example number 2, let fx is equal to box function x belongs to closed interval 0 comma 2. Then step function or our box function fx is equal to 0 when 0 less than is equal to x less than 1, 1 when 1 less than is equal to x less than 2, and is equal to 2 when x is equal to 2. So f is bounded on closed interval 0 comma 2 because mod of fx less than is equal to 2 for all x belongs to closed interval 0 comma 2, and obviously f is continuous on closed interval 0 comma 2 except for the points 1 comma 2. So by theorem f is integrable on closed interval 0 comma 2. Number 3, let f be defined on closed interval 0 comma 1 by f of 0 is equal to 0 and f of x is equal to 1 by 2 to the power n minus 1 when 1 by 2 to the power n less than x less than is equal to 1 by 2 to the power n minus 1 for n is equal to 1 to dot dot. Here we see that f is monotonically increasing and bounded on closed interval 0 comma 1. So therefore if a function is monotone or and bounded, we can say that the function is unintegrable. So f is integrable on closed interval 0 comma 1. Now example number 4, if f is a function defined by f of x is equal to 1 by 2 to the power n when 1 by 2 to the power n plus 1 less than x less than is equal to 1 by 2 to the power n is equal to 0 1 2 dot dot, and 0 when x is equal to 0, we have to evaluate integration 0 to 1 f of x dx. That means first we see that the function is integrable on closed interval 0 comma 1, and then we evaluate integration 0 to 1 fx dx, that means the value of this integral. So solution, first we have f of 0 is equal to 0. Now putting fx is equal to 1 in when half less than x less than is equal to 1, and putting n is equal to 0. fx is equal to half when 1 by 2 square less than x less than is equal to 1 by 2, putting n is equal to 1, and f of x is equal to 1 by 2 to the power n minus 1 when 1 by 2 to the power n less than x less than 1 by 2 to the power n minus 1. So since f is bounded and monotonically increasing, we clearly see that f is bounded and monotonically increasing, then f is unintegrable. Now integration 1 by 2 to the power n to 1 fx dx is equal to integration half to 1 fx dx plus 1 by 2 square to half fx dx plus 1 by 2 cube to 1 by 2 square fx dx plus dot dot 1 by 2 to the power n 1 by 2 to the power n minus 1 f of x dx. Now putting these values of fx, we see that integration half to 1 into dx, first 1 into putting n is equal to 0, we get this value, and is equal plus half the value of fx in 1 by 2 square to less than is equal to x less than is equal to half is half. So we write half integration 1 by 2 square to half into dx plus 1 by 2 square integration 1 by 2 cube to 1 by 2 square dx plus dot up to 1 by 2 to the power n minus 1 integration 1 by 2 to the power n into 1 by 2 to the power n minus 1 into dx. Now we are integrating this and we get half plus half into half minus half square plus half square minus 1 by 2 cube plus dot dot 1 by 2 to the power n minus 1 bracket 1 by 2 to the power n minus 1 minus 1 by 2 to the power n is equal to half plus 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 2 square into 1 by 2 cube plus dot up to 1 by 2 to the power n minus 1 into 1 by 2 to the power n. We take common from both half and we get half bracket 1 plus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 2 square whole square plus dot up to 1 by 2 square whole to the power n minus. So here we see that this is a geometric progression with common ratio 1 by 2 square and the starting number is 1. So we can apply our geometric progression and we write summation on our geometric progression, which is a into 1 minus r to the power n divided by 1 minus r. So applying this formula, we can write it as half into 1 minus 1 by 2 square or 1 by 4 to the power n divided by 1 minus 1 by 4 is equal to half into 4 by 3 into 1 minus 1 by 4 to the power n is equal to 2 by 3 bracket 1 minus 1 by 4 to the power n. Taking limit as n tends to infinity, we get integration 0 to 1 fx dx is equal to 2 by 3 limit n tends to infinity 1 minus 1 by 4 to the power n, which is equal to 1. So this is equal to 2 by 3. Now properties of Riemann integrable functions. Theorem 1. Let f close interval a comma b to r and g close interval a comma b to r be both integrable on close interval a comma b. Then f plus g is integrable on close interval a comma b, and integration a to b f plus g is equal to integration a to b f plus integration a to b g. Number 2 theorem. Let f close interval a comma b to r be integrable on close interval a comma b and c belongs to r. Then cf is integrable on close interval a comma b, and integration a to b cf is equal to c integration a to b f. Number theorem 3. Let a function f close interval a comma b to r be integrable on close interval a comma b. Then mod f is integrable on close interval a comma b. The converse of this theorem is not true. That means if mod f is integrable on close interval a comma b, we cannot claim that f is also integrable on close interval a comma b. For an example, let f close interval a comma b to r be defined by fx is equal to 1 when x belongs to close interval a comma b intersection q, that means rational number set, is equal to minus 1 x belongs to close interval a comma b minus q, that means irrational number set. Then f is not integrable on close interval a comma b, but mod of f of x is equal to 1 for all x belongs to close interval a comma b, and mod f, in that case mod f is integrable on close interval a comma b. So here you see that if mod f is integrable on close interval a comma b, but fx is not integrable on close interval a comma b. Now theorem number 4. Let a function f close interval a comma b to r be integrable on close interval a comma b. then f square is also integrable on closed interval a comma b. Theorem number 5. A function f closed interval a comma b to r and g closed interval a comma b to r be both integrable on closed interval a comma b. Then f into g is also integrable on closed interval a comma b. Theorem number 6. F closed interval a comma b to r be integrable on closed interval a comma b. If there exists a positive real number k such that fx greater than is equal to k for all x belongs to closed interval a comma b, then 1 by f is integrable on closed interval a comma b. Theorem number 7. Let f closed interval a comma b to r and g closed interval a comma b to r be both integrable on closed interval a comma b. Then there exists a positive real number k such that gx greater than is equal to k for all x belongs to closed interval a comma b, then f by g is also integrable on closed interval a comma b. Theorem number 8. Let a function f closed interval a comma b to r be integrable on closed interval a comma b and c belongs to open set closed interval a comma b. That means a less than c less than b. Then f is integrable on closed interval a comma c and also integrable on closed interval c comma b, and we write it as integration a to bf is equal to integration a to cf plus integration c to bf. Now piecewise continuous function. A function f closed interval a comma b to r is said to be piecewise continuous function on closed interval a comma b if there exists a partition p x0 x1 dot xn on closed interval a comma b where a is equal to x0 less than x1 less than x2 dot less than xn is equal to b, such that f is continuous on the open interval xk minus 1 comma xk for 1 less than is equal to k less than n, and each of f of a plus 0 comma f of b minus 0 comma f of xk plus 0 comma xk minus 0 is finite for 1 less than is equal to k less than is equal to n minus 1. Clearly, a piecewise continuous function on closed interval a comma b is continuous on closed interval a comma b except for a finite number of points of jump discontinuity. So, for example, we can see that a step function on closed interval a comma b is piecewise continuous function on closed interval a comma b. Applying these properties, we can solve some problems. Problem number 1. Let fx is equal to step function box x belongs to closed interval 0 comma 3. Prove that f is integrable on closed interval 0 comma 3 and also evaluate integration 0 to 3f. So first we prove this is integrable and then we evaluate the value. So here this is a step function fx is equal to 0 when 0 less than is equal to x less than 1, 1 when 1 less than is equal to x less than 2, 2 when 2 less than is equal to x less than 3, and 3 when x is equal to 3. So here we clearly see that f is bounded on closed interval 0 comma 3 and f is also continuous on closed interval 0 comma 3 except for the points 1 to 3. So we have finite number of discontinuity, and by theorem we know that then if a function is bounded and continuous on closed interval 0 comma 3 we have a finite number of discontinuity, then f is integrable on closed interval 0 comma 3. Now let us define some functions phi1, phi2, phi3 on closed interval 0 comma 1 comma closed interval 1 comma 2 comma closed interval 2 comma 3 respectively by phi1x is equal to 0 in closed interval when x belongs to closed interval 0 comma 1, phi2x is equal to 1 when x belongs to closed interval 1 comma 2, phi3x is equal to 2 when x belongs to closed interval 2 comma 3. Then integration 0 to 3f is equal to integration 0 to 1f plus integration 1 to 2f plus integration 2 to 3f. We know this by our property of Riemann integration by theorem number 8. So integration 0 to 3 f is equal to integration 0 to 1 f plus integration 1 to 2 f plus integration 2 to 3 f is equal to integration 0 to 1 phi 1, because in 0 to 1 the value is phi 1 x, plus integration 1 to 2 phi 2 plus integration 2 to 3 phi 3, and putting the value of phi 1 phi 2 phi 3 we write it as integration 0 to 1 0 into dx plus integration 1 to 2 1 into dx plus integration 2 to 3 2 into dx. Now integrating we find the value is 3. Now example number 2, fx is equal to 1 by n when 1 by n plus 1 less than x less than is equal to 1 by n, when n is equal to 1 2 3 dot dot and 0 when x is equal to 0. Prove that f is integrable on closed interval 0, 1 and evaluate integration 0 to 1 f. Solution. Here I see that fx is equal to 1 when half less than x less than is equal to 1, that is putting n is equal to 1 is equal to half when 1 by 3 less than x less than is equal to half, and 0 when x is equal to 0. So here we clearly see that f is bounded on closed interval 0, 1 and continuous on closed interval 0, 1 except at the points half, 1 by 3 by 4 dot dot. The set of points of discontinuity of f on closed interval 0, 1 is an infinite set having only one limit point, which is 0. Okay, so therefore by properties we know that therefore f is integrable on closed interval 0, 1. Now let us define the function phi 1 phi 2 on closed interval 1 by 2 or 2, 1, 1 by 3, 1 by 2 respectively. Then phi 1 x is equal to 1 when x belongs to closed interval half, 1, phi 2 x is equal to half when x belongs to closed interval 1 by 3, half dot dot, and phi n x is equal to 1 by n when x belongs to 1 by n plus 1, 1 by n. So integration half to 1 phi 1 dx is equal to, putting the value of phi 1 into 1 minus half, integration 1 to 3 to half phi 2 dx is equal to, putting the value of phi 2 half into integrating value half minus 1 by 3 dot dot, integration 1 by n plus 1 to 1 by n phi n dx is equal to 1 by n into 1 by n minus 1 by n plus 1. So integration 0 to 1 f is equal to limit n tends to infinity, putting all this phi 1 phi 2 plus dot dot phi n we can write it as 1 into 1 minus half plus half into half minus 1 by 3 plus dot dot 1 by n into 1 by n minus 1 by n plus 1. We separate this, we take plus numbers first and minus of others numbers. So limit n tends to infinity, 1 we can write 1 as 1 by 1 square plus 1 by 2 square plus dot up to 1 by n square minus 1 into minus 1 by 1.2 plus 1 by 2 into 3 plus dot dot 1 by n into n plus 1. So now the value of 1 by 1 square plus 1 by 2 square plus dot 1 by 3 square plus dot dot to infinity is equal to pi square by 6. So we put this value pi square by 6. Now minus limit n tends to infinity, we can write this portion as 1 half, we can write half as 1 minus half plus 1 by 2 into 3 can 1 by half minus 1 by 3 plus dot up to 1 by n minus 1 by n plus 1. Cancelling all this, or cancelling the terms, we get only limit n tends to infinity 1 minus 1 by n plus 1, and the limiting value of this is 1. So we obtain this value is pi square by 6 minus 1, which is our answer.